Are we on? What do you think? Red light's on, isn't it? We're probably on then, aren't we? Hello? Hello? Let me go to my PC, which is running very, very slowly at the moment. Go to my PC and see if I can see myself being live. I can't see myself being live just yet. There I am, here I am, and I've pressed this button, I'll be able to hear myself. I can't see myself being live just yet. There I am, here I am, and I've pressed this button, I'll be able to hear myself. Yeah, that's me hearing myself. Hello, welcome, welcome. Lorwyn Eclipsed, part 5. Anything to say? Not much to say. We've been talking about... What's the name of the card? Let me get the name of the card. It starts with a D. On the one, it makes a bunch of blight gems, and it gives you a free card in your hand. So it's a mana filler giver. Free card every turn. In ECL, if that counts for anything. But it does create 4 blight gems. Gems a whole lot. Blight gems have mostly come up when I've been mastering cards so far. So blight gems in Planar Chaos. I've had some there, and blight gems in the Commoner's Cup. So yeah, I'm not completely ignorant of how blight gems work. Oh, message in from somebody. Yeah, okay. Does that mean somebody's in my stay? Does that mean somebody's in my stream? Oh no, no chat messages in just yet. Let's go in here. Now I checked where I was at the end of it. Yeah, it was about a week ago actually. It's been a little bit since the last stream. And we were at, I believe, Shadow, I want to say Shadow something or other. We've got quite a few of those cards, haven't I? Look at that, 181, that's quite a few. Shadow something or other. Shadow Urchin. Yes, that was the last thing we were looking at. Again, a blight card. Not convinced by blight. Shall we move on? Anyway, let's go to Shimmer Creep. Don't think we looked at this one last time. It's a sheep on stilts. That's what Shimmer Creep is. It's a very big sheep on stilts as well. Look, little house there. Quite scary that. When this creature enters the battlefield, your opponent loses X life and you gain X life, X the number of colours amongst cards you control. To me, that sounds like a fixed version of the, what's the guy? Black something of asphalt. It's that thing that used to do damage for devotion. In paper, obviously. Grey Merchant of Asmodeal. That is a much closer approximation of what the actual name... That's still not quite what the real name is, I don't think. But a much closer approximation. And it was in paper and it had devotion. It used to deal a lot of damage for your black devotion. This looks like a version of that. Of course, devotion is, you know, not much cop in Puzzle Quest. And this doesn't look much cop in Puzzle Quest either. So we move on. Shimmerwild's Growth. Affinity for Forest. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Affinity for Forest. Who makes forest tokens? Nissa 4 makes forest tokens. Probably not many other people making forest tokens. There might be some forest creatures around. With probably a few other cards that make forest tokens. So it's a 6 mana support then. When this support enters the board, convert a gem to the least present colour on the board. I mean, that's just the least most interesting. The least most interesting? Yes, the least most interesting thing that it could be, isn't it? Convert a single gem to the least present colour on the board. So it's almost certainly not going to make a match for you. And it's only doing it once when it comes into play. But it does it as well at the beginning of your turn. Convert a gem to the least present colour on the board. Okay, so one of the things I was underwhelmed by has been addressed, right? And that is the frequency with which the effect occurs. However, the type of the effect and the power of the effect are still both piss weak. And it's got this weird affinity for forest thing. And this is a real kind of old school, you know, what were they called? Octagon too much complexity for their own good card, wasn't it? You know? Way too many words on this for what it does. Shine Striker. Draw X cards. No, 15 mana, 3/3. No, too expensive, too small. Even for what it does. We can draw 2 cards for 2 mana, for goodness sake, with an Artificer's Epiphany. Why are we drawing X cards for 15 mana and having to jump through hoops to do it? Nope. Shore Lurker, Merfolk Scout. We had a few white Merfolk in this set, haven't we? Is that interesting? No. I always feel I should just turn them all blue, to be perfectly honest. The reason for having like white Merfolk in a base set is like to make drafting a bit more interesting, isn't it? You know, to spread the tribes across multiple colours, to make just drafting a little bit more interesting, and to make your mana base a little less stable. It has no effect on Magic Puzzle Quest. When it enters the battlefield, Surveil 1, yeah, rubbish. It flies as well for no very good reason. Merfolk that fly? Do Merfolk fly? Here we've got a Merfolk Wizard. Affinity Merfolk. When this creature enters the battlefield, create a Lorwyn Merfolk token. It did occur to me, you know, thinking about this, because we've had Shadowmoor Elves, Shadowmoor Goblins. I think we've had those. We've also Lorwyn Merfolk, Lorwyn Kithkin. This is kind of an attempt to create flavour on their part, I think. But it's been done before, hasn't it? In a better way. The problem is that Lorwyn Merfolk tokens and Merfolk tokens don't stack. But if they wanted to create flavour, they could do what they did. And I want to say this was done originally in Shadows over Innistrad by, would that be Hibernum? Might be Hibernum. Yeah, I think that was probably Hibernum. And what they did was they just changed the graphic on the zombie tokens. Do you remember that? When the game first started, there were different zombie token graphics. And then when one of the sets came along, I think it was Shadows over Innistrad, they just changed what the zombie token graphic was. And that was just a little bit of flavour, indicating the fact we'd come to a new plane. But crucially, didn't fuck us up in mechanical ways, because they were still the same old, mechanically, the same old zombie tokens we'd always had before. That's what they should have done here. They didn't. Just a little bit of food for thought for you for next time, Webcore. Obviously crap. Silvergill Peddler. Creature enters a battlefield, discard a card, draw a card. Yeah, again, you know, here we're seeing... Oh, that's an elemental, that's not a Merfolk. Here we're seeing exactly why... tribal doesn't bloody work in Magic Puzzle Quest. Discard a card, draw a card. Oh, it's discarding first. Look at that. It's doing a looting effect. I didn't think blue still did looting. Maybe they're doing looting as like a callback to when Merfolk used to do looting back in the early days of Magic. Maybe that's what it's about. I thought blue these days draws and discards, and it's red that discards and draws. That's what I thought. Sizzling Changeling. When it dies... discard a card, then draw a card. I mean, 3 mana for a 3/2. That puts it, you know, slightly out of low shit tier, doesn't it? But we've talked about changelings and why they need to do something other than just have power and toughness before. When this creature enters the battlefield, this Slumbering Walker, 12 mana, 4/7. Okay. Create 2 Blight Gems. When a Blight Gem is claimed, return a random creature with base power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, I don't think so, though. It doesn't fetch itself back, wouldn't it? I think it would need to do that at a bare minimum, wouldn't it? Fetch itself back. I mean, I don't know what creatures you're getting back with this type of effect and why you care about it. Why you care about having lots of them in play specifically. That's kind of the problem with an effect like this, isn't it? Once I get one Overlord of the Flood Pits out or one Marvo out, I'm happy. I don't really care how many. Oh, we'll put 4 Marvos into play sometimes. Do you know how much damage a turn 4 Marvos does? 4 damage a turn. It's not there for the damage. It's there for the effect, and the effect doesn't care how many of them there are in play. So this kind of effect is putting multiples out from your graveyard into play. Yeah. It's really only there for the power toughness of the card. Yeah, it's not there for the effect of the card. And since it's only pulling out tiny powers toughnesses, it doesn't seem great, does it? I mean, it'll pull out like a Cosmogoyf, but yeah, doesn't seem great. Soul Immolation, create 3 Blight Gems, deal X damage to each opposing creature and your opponent's Planeswalker. X is 2 times the amount of Blight Gems on the board. So what we've got here is not enough to... How much burn is the right amount to do to your opponent's creatures and your opponent? And the answer is an infinite amount. You know, any finite amount of damage is the wrong amount of damage to do. This is doing 6, isn't it? Straight off, 3 Blight Gems, 6 to each creature and your opponent's Planeswalker. This can be, we can call this high shit tier, I guess, for doing like a mass removal thing, quite a poor mass removal thing. And of course you can bump it up with more Blight Gems. I don't know, maybe it goes in the Blight Gem deck, yeah? We know there's a bunch of these creatures around that will put multiple Blight Gems on the board. Once you've got, I think you people out there, I'm not happy with this dealing 30 damage to something. That's not enough for me. I want to just destroy things. But maybe you people out there, you're happy with a card that deals 30 damage to creatures. And let's not forget to a Planeswalker. I only need 15 Blight Gems out to do that. So I guess if you're building the Blight Gem deck, you do put this in it, don't you? Because it's got that board sweep, you know, that doesn't destroy, but it probably does quite a lot with a lot of Blight Gems. But more importantly, does damage to your opponent. Yeah, put that in your Blight Gem deck when you're building it. Why not? Just not the rest of the time. Soulbright Seeker, Affinity Elemental. Activate 2. Oh no, this is completely out of theme for this set, isn't it? This is the Activate 1 set, let's not forget. At this late stage in the game, they can't get me excited by writing Activate 2 on the card. Twice as powerful! Twice as powerful as Activate 1, that's what this is. Your first creature gains trample until end of turn, then convert 2 gems to red. Yeah, rubbish, isn't it? Sour Bread Auntie, 10 mana 4/3. I mean, that's seems like it's edging up out of low shit tier, doesn't it? When this creature enters the battlefield, create 2 Blight Gems, and then Shadowmoor Goblins are what? 1, 2? Yeah, go on, no, that can be mid shit tier, can't it? 6 power on the table for 10 mana. It's still, yeah, it's still, I mean, I hope they don't think that this is good enough for Colours of Magic. I've always said, haven't I, that the problem with Colours of Magic is it's easy to get card advantage when you're blowing things up, hard to get card advantage when you're creating things. And a 4/3 and a couple of 1/1s, while technically being card advantage, is very unimpressive card advantage. Spell Snare, Jesus Christ. Spell Snare is quite good, isn't it, in paper? Doesn't Spell Snare, like, counter a spell that costs exactly 2 mana or something? There's a place for Spell Snare. I'm pretty sure that's Spell Snare. You can even play it sometimes in, like, Legacy. I mean, maybe you can't now. Maybe Legacy's moved on since I used to play it. Anyway, obviously garbage here in Magic Puzzle Quest. Got to stop. You've got to stop doing the drain mana effects. Because they're always terrible. They always have been terrible since the start of the game. The way to drain mana out of your opponent's hand is to make them discard their hand and draw some more cards. Time Reversal is a good way of doing it. Days Undoing is a good way of doing it. Just an effect like this that says drain some mana, absolutely god-awful. Please, please stop doing it. Spine Rock Tyrant, 12 mana 6. Oh, this is going to be high shit tier, I can just tell. When you cast a spell, create a Blight Gem. Then create a copy of that card in your hand if it's not a copy. That card gains full mana. This effect can trigger up to 4 times per turn. Right. I don't. Obviously high shit tier. Yeah, we're copying some spells. We don't mind doing that. There's that hard limit on it though. So like we can't put it in the Loop Hero deck, you know, which is which you'll remember, you know, Phenomenon Investigators, 10 copies of Phenomenon Investigators, basically. And just going loopity-loopity-loop from any single one card you put into play, because it's got a hard limit on it. And I think the rest of the time, you know, there's less raw power in this up front than a loot or a connecting the dots or, you know, your normal mana filler giver, because you've got to play this and then you've got to play the spell as well to get another one full of mana. So I think we're falling between two stools here. I think we're falling between two stools. I think some people might like it. I can almost imagine, you know, Goz declaring this one of the chase cards of the set. Is that being mean to Goz? Maybe that's being mean to Goz. I don't know. It's quite powerful. It's high shit tier. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, maybe I should move it. Maybe I should bump it up to God shit tier. What do you think? That's why we have God shit tier. Maybe it's even mid. It's no higher than that. Spiral into Solitude. Create 2 Blight Gems. Your opponent's first creature can't block and can't attack until the beginning of your turn. A thing occurred to me the other day about can't attack and can't block. It's got nothing to do with this card at all, this rubbish card. But we've had cards in the past where... What am I trying to think of? I don't know. I can't remember the card I'm trying to think of. Let me start that sentence again. I think that would work well as a cost. Your creature that you have does a good thing, yeah? And as a cost for it doing the thing, it gains can't block and can't attack. That would be quite good, I think, yeah? Anyway, that's the only place... I forget why I'd come up with this theory before. They've been putting... Yeah, I think maybe we've been putting things on cards about removing... Hang on. I've been saying about removing text off cards, haven't I? Oh, yeah. Creatures losing basic evergreens. No, it's not to do with that either. I don't know. Anyway, in conclusion, this card sucks. Spry and Mighty. Discard X cards. Draw X cards. Okay. I notice it's not going to put any mana in them, which makes it kind of suck. All creatures you control gain +X/+X and gain trample till the beginning of your next turn. X is the power of just your first creature up to 6. We can discard 6 cards, draw X 6 cards. I'm just trying to decide where in shit tier I'm going to put this, you know? That's why I'm rereading it. Because it's like, it's not putting mana in the cards like Time Reversal. It's not pumping your creatures up permanently, or indeed a lot. So, you know, somewhere in shit tier anyway. Squawk Roaster. This is a 1/4 with double strike. Oh, but it's going to get a bit bigger. In fact, it's probably going to be 2, isn't it? This creature gets +X/+X. X is the number of colours amongst cards you control. I imagine when you play this, it's immediately going to get +1/+1 from itself, making it a 9 mana 2/5 with double strike. That bumps it up into mid shit tier, I think. Yeah, shit tier. Stalactite Dagger. Oh, this is going to be really bad, isn't it? And this support enters the board, create a shapeshifter token. That's a 1/1. Yeah, they really punted the whole thing about shapeshifters and changelings in this set, haven't they? Everything we've seen, whether it's shapeshifter creatures or whether it's tokens, it's all just been terrible. First creature +1/+1 and changing to the beginning of your next turn. No, okay. Sting Slinger. Activate 2 red. Yeah, we've bumped up to activate 2 now, haven't we? They're trying to make me excited. Maybe by the end of the set we'll be up to activate 3. Who knows? Deal 2 damage to your opponent's planeswalker. Well, obviously rubbish. Stoic Grove Guide. At the beginning of your turn, if this card is in your graveyard, create a Shadowmoor Elf token. Then exile this card. Okay, no, I don't think so. They're 2/2s, aren't they? I really don't think so. Again, you know, I love cards that pop out of the graveyard, as you know. I wouldn't mind something like this, that when it goes into your graveyard, put something into play. Shit tier. Mid-shit tier? Yeah, 10 mana 5/4 can be mid-shit tier, can't it? But no, the particular design's not at all interesting. And not worth playing with in anything except, you know, what's it? Silver Jewel. Stratosaura. 11 mana 3/5. When this creature enters the battlefield, your first creature gains flying until end of turn. Okay. Subterfuge. Right, yes. Come on, let's get on to a masterpiece, shall we? When this creature enters the battlefield or attacks, this is a 10 mana 3/5. These are practically the same sets as this common card over here. I mean, it's going to be a little bit bigger because it's got a little bit of conversion, but frankly, not much conversion. When it enters the battlefield, convert 2. When it attacks, convert 2. That's pretty piss poor, isn't it? 2 gems for 10 mana. Then your other creatures gain flying. Yeah, there's a lot going on here because look, there's also persist. So we've got some conversion, we've got some persist, we've got some flying. We don't care about most of that. Let's strip all of that off. All we really want is a creature that does some conversion, don't we? Why would we care about gaining flying? Why would we care about persist on a creature that that doesn't do anything interesting apart from conversion? No, that's a bit of a total fail for a masterpiece, that one, isn't it? Summit Sentinel, when it dies, draw a card. Garbage. Sundapple. This is it, isn't it? This is the thing. I remember last time, when I was doing the last set review, I spent a lot of my time saying, I'd master that in the Commoner's Cup. I'd master that in the Commoner's Cup. I'd master that in the Commoner's Cup. To the point where I had to stop myself and just make sure I was making it very explicit that that doesn't make it a card worth having. The fact that it could be mastered in the Commoner's Cup doesn't make it worth anybody's time to open out of a booster. So I told myself, I think I made my point there, but I told myself I'd just stop when I was doing this set review and just point out when we got to a card, because there will be lots of these that aren't even worth mastering in the Commoner's Cup. Okay? Those cards weren't worth the cardboard they were not printed on, but this, Sundappled Celebrant. Yeah, I've obviously been mastering this somewhere, probably in story mode. Let's get to be mid-shit tier, low mid-shit tier, I don't know, maybe. Sunderflock. This is a 20 mana 5/5. I don't like that straight away, even with the affinity for elemental. I mean, honestly, how much cheap's that going to make it? When this creature enters the battlefield, return all non-elemental creatures to its owner's hand. Then gain X mana. X is the number of elemental cards you control. Okay. I mean, I think it's too expensive, isn't it? How many elementals are you going to have? I really don't know. I mean, I can definitely see you having a big old stack of elemental tokens. I mean, I suppose back in the olden days, we would have done that with, what's that green thing that used to put 2/2 elementals in Origins? We used to create quite a lot. Zendikar's Royal. Anyone remember Zendikar's Royal? Fucking hell, I'm surprised I could even pull that name out of my arse, to be honest. So I can imagine you having a big stack of elemental tokens. I think there's at least one planeswalker that creates elemental tokens. Maybe not blue planeswalkers that create elemental tokens. I think there's a Chandra that creates elemental tokens. I don't think Nissa's Forests are they? Maybe they are. But anyway, not blue. So I don't think there's a relevant planeswalker that's in blue that's going to put a stack of elemental tokens into play. But I can see them being a thing. I can imagine you having some elemental tokens, playing this. This gets cheaper from those elemental tokens, so you're not even paying 20 for it. It bounces a bunch of stuff on the other side. Not elementals. So that's quite important. It's not getting rid of Gaia's Revenges, you know. Maybe even some other important things as well. That's the one thing that leaps to mind that's an elemental that you'd be annoyed that it wouldn't bounce. You don't see quite so many of those around these days. So yeah, I mean, the problem is that this is kind of build around then in that case, you know? If you could throw this into a deck and just rely on the fact that in any random deck you'd have a stack of elemental tokens, I'd definitely put this into high shit tier. But you've got to kind of actually build around for this. And if you're building around for this, I don't know, I feel like you're building a better deck with better cards. Maybe the deck builders out there will like this one. I, on the other hand, do not. Surly Farrier. I mean, I guess 3/3's enough to master in the Commoners' Cup, isn't it? I have been mastering some 3/3s. The 2/2s and the 1/1s, I'm not mastering in the Commoners' Cup. That's not worth those pulling those out for free out of the graveyard. But I guess technically this is 3 powers worth of creature every time it comes into play. So I suppose you can master this in the Commoners' Cup. And you know, it's quite cheap. Yes, it can be mid-shit tier. Swat away. Shuffle target creature back into its owner's library. 10 mana, that's too much. Then, if an opponent has more life than you, gain 4 mana. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the effect. Shuffling the creature back into its library. We have you know, some decent putting creatures back on top of libraries at the moment. There's 2 that I can think of. There's Deem Inferior, extremely powerful, really good. Puts creatures back on top of your opponent's library. Season of Weaving puts literally everything, all of your stuff as well, back on top of libraries. So, I mean, I don't mind the effect. I wouldn't mind seeing more of the effect. But at the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1 that costs 10. So, put that effect on something better. Sig. Wonderwine Wisdom. Wonderwine Wisdom. Yeah, okay. This is another one of these terrible things, isn't it? When it enters the battlefield or transforms, draw a card. That card gains 4 mana. Right, do you think? I don't think. I mean, that's like it sounds like it's just a little bit weaker than Talent of the Telepath, doesn't it? That's what? 5 mana, gain 6. Yeah, this is 7 mana, gain 4. And you're not getting the choice either. It sounds like it's just a little bit weaker than that. But actually, really, with those stats, it's quite a lot weaker than that. Activate 2 white, we flip it over, and we get... Target creature gains protection from your opponent's planeswalker colors. Protection, I think, is just a trap that Webcore fell into. They do this a lot, you know. They find some code lying around. They did it recently with Regenerates. They found the Regenerate code lying around when, oh, well, if that exists in the game, it must be a good and relevant thing that people care about. They did it with Void Gems, frankly, in PM2 as well. And protection, really, the way it is, it really just should be deprecated from the game completely. Oh, hello, Zipper. When did you get in? Hello. Uncharted Void, says Zipper, puts a card on the bottom of the library. Oh, this is obviously irrelevant to Swat Away. Yeah, I think Condemn puts a card on the bottom of the library as well, doesn't it? So we've got cards that, like, mix the creature back into your library. Which, and really, the relevant point for those of us, I know I'm talking to 2 people with Siffer and Schmar in the room who absolutely know this, but you know, for all my other fans out there, the relevant point really is just that if you kill a creature and it goes to the graveyard, then, you know, it's in the graveyard, and somebody like Grist, for example, can absolutely take advantage of that. Whereas, if you're putting the creature back into your opponent's library, that is a different thing. Or from their hand. Oops, I put the wrong card on the screen for a second there. Anyway, where were we actually? We're actually at Sig Wonderwine Wisdom, who had this weak-ass Talent of the Telepath effect, and then it's just absolutely garbage protection effect. So no, do not go near. 6 command. Now, we haven't found any more of these commands that we like, do we? I'm still really rather fond of Grub's command. That's the Goblin one, which honestly, I have really been battling myself to buy that out of the current Elite pack. Because I've got a few of the mythics out of the current elite pack. I could throw some gems, some jewels down on it. And I just really like it. It's, you know, it's got that 1-for-1 removal thing, but I like the fact that it replaces itself because it fetches a goblin back, doesn't it, when you play it? But it is still just a 1-for-1. Even though it's a very good 1-for-1, it is still just a 1-for-1. So I really should save my jewels, I think, for the next set. But I kind of do want Grub's Command. That's my point, but we haven't seen any other commands that we actually like the look of, have we? So, 6th command. Choose one. Reinforce the first non-token merfolk creature you control. That creature gains lifelink. I mean, it's not looking good, is it? Option B, draw a card. That card gains 7 mana. Oh, that's a little bit more than we get at the Telepath. Already, 6th command is better than Sig Wonderwine Wisdom, isn't it? Draw a card that gains 7 mana. The first opposing creature gains stun counter 1. I mean, if you pump that up to like 2 or 3, I bet Madren would really go for that card. Yeah? Stun counter 1 doesn't seem good enough. Certainly option A is garbage. Yeah, you know, option B, it could be worse, but I don't think it's powerful enough for anyone to care about it. Tam, Mindful First Year. Do we know what's going on with the first years yet? As I say, I always kind of felt that the first years, they should have been in Strixhaven. And I believe we are getting a Strixhaven set in paper this year, aren't we? Or am I completely wrong about that? I don't know. Now I think about it, there's Essence Fracture coming up later in the year. Is there a Strixhaven set as well? Who knows? But are all these first years, this is my point, are all these first years, are they all going to Strixhaven maybe? Maybe that's why they're all first years, yeah? They've all applied to Strixhaven from the plane of Shadowmoor / Lorwyn. Or does it mean something completely different and is nothing to do with going to school at all? Answers on a postcard, please. Yes, there is, says Zibford. Yes, there is a Strixhaven set coming up. So do you think all these first years are starting at Strixhaven then? Strixhaven's the name of the college, right? Not the name of the plane. It's not very useful having Zibford here. He can tell me all of these things. It is useful, he says, immediately checking himself. It's very useful having Shmara here most of the time. She is unfortunately a little sleepy, so she's in bed today. So she's not helping me with things. But she's normally very, very helpful, Shmara. Thank you. So, 7 mana 2/2. At the beginning of your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures, your other creatures gain hexproof until the beginning of your next turn. There's just nothing wrong. At this point in the game, there's just nothing wrong with things. There's really nothing wrong with having a card that says, you know, all your creatures have hexproof all the time. There could be a support that says that. There could be a creature that says that. It's okay to do that now. We had that a little bit of a problem in the very early days of Magic Puzzle Quest with Runaway Carriage, which was a creature that had hexproof. And people used to get, I think it had hexproof and prevent damage or something like that. And then people used to give it a defensive ability, and it used to be unkillable in combat anyway, but, you know, not the rest of the way. But now we have all kinds of unkillable creatures in combat. We've got the Swans of Brill Argol, you know, we've got the Vraska's pretty unkillable in combat, let's face it, because he's got Defender and First Strike and Death Touch. We got Sabsunan now. We've got so many, you know, creatures that are really unkillable in combat. I don't think there's any problem with just having powerful cards that give things hexproof. Just all of your stuff has hexproof all of the time. You know, and if people want to load extra effects onto that and give them, you know, defensive abilities or prevent damage or whatever the hell they want to do, or whether they just want to protect their Overlord of the Flood Pits by giving it hexproof, just let them do it. Because let's face it, a Demon Inferior is just going to ruin that person's day anyway, isn't it? So fuck it. Make these effects more powerful, please. And I still probably won't care about them. Tanufel Rhyme Speaker. 9 mana 2/4. That's not a good start. Whenever you cast a card that costs 4 or more, draw a card. Again, I don't really mind the mechanic there. But we're very much in a time and space where you know, drawing a card and not putting mana into it, we don't really care. That does not. What I would note is that does not have one of those limits on it, doesn't it? That cast a card. Whenever you cast a card that costs 4 or more, you draw a card. There's no hard limit on that says you can only do this 4 times a turn. So that's a little bit of a rash me going on there. I imagine most of you combo players will be playing entirely with a deck that costs 4 or more. That's almost all cards, isn't it? Really? How many really great cards? Actually, there's quite a few really great cards. This is Pilgrimage, for God's sake. But it's easy enough to build a combo deck where all your cards cost 4 or more. It's very hard to build a combo deck where they don't. So you've got a potential combo piece there. When this creature dies, draw X cards. X is the number of wizard creatures you control. I've got no idea if you draw 1 card when it dies itself, or whether you draw no cards when it dies itself. That's not really the point, is it? Nobody's here for that second clause on the card. We're all just here because that's a cut price rash me. Is that good enough to make a splash in this day and age? I really don't think so, you know. Rashmi was around in the days where we had cards like Rishka's Expertise in Standard, you know, and all those other good conversion cards that I don't remember the name of. And these days, they don't even like doing it. They've just depowered Tempt with Discovery, and they depowered Galta once already, although, you know, not very effectively. So I don't think we care about having this kind of a combo piece, but that's the use of it anyway. Taster of Wares. This is a Goblin Warlock. When this creature enters a battlefield, your opponent discards a non-copy card without mana from hand. Don't like it. We don't like discarding cards without mana. We want to always discard the first card. In fact, how about the first card that has mana in it? We've never seen that clause before. Put that on a card, yeah? Because we generally always want to discard the first card that Greg's got in his hand. But yeah, let's try writing discard the first card that has mana in it from their hand. Let's do that. Then, if a spell card was discarded this way, create a copy of that card in your hand. Don't put mana in it. Therefore, we don't care. Temporal Cleansing. Oh, was this the card you were talking about earlier, Zipper? It wasn't, was it? I don't remember. Uncharted Voyage puts a card on the bottom of the library, said Zipper earlier. Target player moves a card with the greatest mana cost they control to the bottom of their library. Okay, I'd wager this probably won't work properly. I've been having problems with effects that are supposed to do a card. There's a 15 mana thing at the moment in Lorwyn Eclipsed. It's green, and it's supposed to blow up the card with the highest cost, and it only hits creatures. So I would have thought this probably doesn't work at the moment. Little heads up there. But, you know, let's review it as it's supposed to work if it ever gets fixed. If indeed it is even broken. So it's a 1/1. It's 13 mana for a 1/1. That's not good enough, is it? Do you remember when Void Rend was printed and it was like really great? Yeah, the fact that there was a 9 mana card that not only killed a creature, we didn't mind killing creatures for 1/1s back then, but also did a support. Void Rend was kind of a revolution when it first showed up. And now, I mean, I realise this is 4 more mana than it, but, you know, even if Void Rend showed up in a set, we'd be like, nah. In fact, it has, hasn't it? Grub's Command is basically Void Rend, isn't it? There's similarities there anyway. Let's not get into the exact subtle differences, please, Zipper. We haven't got an infinite amount of time tonight. But yes, we have basically got a Void Rend in this current set. And we're like, nah. Well, I mean, I am. Maybe some other people aren't. Tend the Sprigs. Fetch the first land card from your library. Don't put any mana in it. Then if you behold a tree folk, create a tree folk token. What's that? Like a 1/3? Oh, 3/4 with reach. Okay, but you've already got to have a tree folk to create a tree folk. So, Thirst for Identity. Discard the last card from your hand. We're looting again, aren't we? I suppose you have to, don't we? Yeah. If you draw and then discard, you're drawing the exact card that you get rid of. I got there in the end. Discard the last card from your hand. Then if a creature card, draw 3 cards. Otherwise, draw 2 cards. No, not powerful enough at 7 mana. Thought Weft charge. Casted. If you casted a creature card this turn, yeah. English is a second language. We'll let them off. Draw a card. Yeah. Garbage. Thought Weft Imbuer. Yeah, I mean this could exist, couldn't it? But it'd need to be a lot bigger. When this creature attacks, if you control no other creature cards, this creature gets +3/+3. So what you're saying there is you're putting all your eggs in the basket of attacking with a 4/4 creature every turn. Yep. And you can't even put multiple copies into play, can you? Because the first copy of this, you're attacking for 4 power. The second copy of this that you put into play, it gives it +1 power. You don't get another copy of that +3/+3. So this card is expecting you to be excited to do nothing with your creatures other than deal 4 damage a turn. Just an absolute failure of design. I'm sure it works well in paper. I'm sure it probably is a 1/5 that gets +3/+3 in paper, to be perfectly honest. I mean, depending on the cost, that might be quite terrifying in paper, to be honest. Thought Weft Lieutenant. When this creature or another Kithkin enters the battlefield, your first creature on a turn. It's garbage. Timid shield. You see, 2 power. I'm not even looking at this. I'm not even looking at my 2 power creatures for mastering with Grist while playing the Silver Jewel. Not even looking. I'll master the 3 power creatures. I'll just about slum it to that level. Because they're all free, aren't they? They're all coming out free. I'm not even looking at the 2 power creatures. Timid Shield Bearer. Again, 2 power. Tributary Volta. What do we got here? When this creature enters the battlefield, another random merfolk, another random, and not even itself, gets +2/+0. Who is it for? There's so many. It really draws the eye as well. You know, like in a normal set, if you have like 50 garbage commons, you know, that's one thing. But in this set, it's like you've got 10 garbage merfolk. It really draws the eye to them, you know? There's 10 garbage merfolk over here that you can't use, and 10 garbage Kithkin over here that you can't use. Is that just me? Do I just have a problem with the general shitness of the whole tribal mechanic in the last 3 sets? Or is that just, do you all out there, do you all just look at the set and go, it's full of garbage cards just like any set is garbage cards. There's no difference. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tristan, Callous Cultivator, okay. 3/4, Death Touch, okay, not relevant if it doesn't have any kind of combat interaction. Destroy the first 3 cards from your library, then if there's an elf card in your graveyard, gain 10 life. Is that it? It's a 9 mana 3/4 that gains some life. Activate 2 black, we transform. Yeah. Destroy more cards from your library. Then you may exile an elf creature from your graveyard. Your opponent's planeswalker loses 10 life. No, I don't think so. No. Tristan's command. Come on, let's have another good command. Let's have one more good command. Who's in? The Hunter's in. Hello, the Hunter. Welcome in. Tristan's in my new version. Nissa, SB, Luke deck. Oh, okay. You like a bit of Tristan, do you? The Hunter. Fair enough. Can't say I'm interested, unfortunately. Let's see what Tristan's command does, because we want at least one more good command. I think we've probably seen all the commands by this point. There's presumably 5 of them. I'm guessing there's 5 of them. Option A, reinforce the first non-token elf creature you control. I mean, I think they all basically do this. I think even Grub's command that I liked, I think the option A was like reinforcing a goblin, wasn't it? So I think they all have this rubbish option A that nobody gives a shit about. Your creatures get +3/+3 and vigilance until the beginning of your next turn. I mean, okay, you might use you might use that as if the option B was good as an option A every so often. Like sometimes in the olden days. Now, don't laugh. I genuinely used to do this, and I was winning my games as well. Don't think that I'm bad. I'm good, me. I promise. I did used to play Requisition Raid. Just to give my creatures +3/+3 times, just to speed things up a bit. So yeah, You know, I can see a world where I might want to do that, but option B is going to have to be really good, and I doubt it is. This is 14 mana, I notice. The other ones have all been cheaper, haven't they? Haven't the other ones all been about 8 mana? Why are we at 14 mana here? Is it because +3/+3 and Vigilance is a really great effect? Can't be. Option B, return the first 2 non-spell cards from your graveyard to their hand. Those cards gain 4 mana. What is it? What is it with these low mana amounts? I mean, you can do this. You can print these low amounts on cards, but you can't do it in a standard format where every fucking decent creature and his dog is saying put full mana into a card. Yeah, nobody's going to care about a card that's got 4 mana in it. So, 2 non-spell cards from your graveyard to the hand. They gain 4 mana, then destroy an opposing non-token artifact or enchantment support at random. So there's some stuff there. Yeah, you're casting it. It's putting more cards back in your hand than before. It's putting a little mana in. Yeah, okay. It's not quite destroying a support, isn't it? You know, so there's some stuff there, but it's just, it's just not good enough as a package. We don't like. Tweeze. Is that fairy pulling the nose hairs out of that giant? I feel attacked. Deal 3 damage to any target, discard a card, then draw a card. Yeah, whatever. Twilight Diviner. What have we got here? 7 mana, 3/3. When this creature enters the battlefield, surveil 2. When a card leaves your graveyard, reinforce this creature. I mean, I don't know. It obviously can only trigger up to 2 times. It'd be much more interesting, couldn't it, if it could trigger a load of times. Maybe it'd be too dangerous if it could trigger a bazillion times. I don't know. We live in a world with space-time anomaly in it, don't we? So maybe it would just be too dangerous if it triggered a gazillion times. But I feel like you make it trigger 6 times. Because I feel like triggering 2 times, nobody really cares about this, do they? I don't think so. Oh, I would absolutely master this in the Commoner's Cup and the Silver Jewel. Absolutely, I'd master that in that. Yeah, there's just one tiny problem with that, which I will leave as an exercise for the reader. Twin Flame Travelers, more elementals. A blue fire. Have we had blue fiery ones before? I don't remember seeing blue fiery ones. Isn't it? Aren't they all red fiery ones normal? When another elemental creature enters the battlefield under your control, reinforce that creature to the beginning of your next turn. 14 mana, 3/3. Unbury. Yeah, we're starting to see quite a few. I mean, there's been at least one reanimate effect in this very set, hasn't there? That's just reanimated 1 card. There is a reanimate effect in this very set that reanimates multiples, isn't it? Is it a mythic or is it a masterpiece? Doesn't it reanimate 1 from my graveyard and 1 from your graveyard? So, and we were umming and ahhing. Well, I was umming and ahhing about even that one. You know, reanimating multiple cards from graveyards. There are downsides to that, but certainly reanimating 1 card from a graveyard, it's just going to always have that problem that you're much better pulling it out of your library. And yes, we can do that. We can do that with so many cards. Pull a card out of your library and give it full mana. They're called mana filler givers. Have you met them? Than doing it with reanimation effect like this. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind seeing reanimation effect if they're going to give us multiple cards. I'm still umming and ahhing about that. You know, remember the 25, what's the ape thing? The big druid ape thing, the 25 mana 7/7 that's pulling multiple things out. I'm still kind of umming and ahhing about that, you know. But then again, the important thing is that one's pulling multiples out. If we're just pulling 1 out and reinforcing it, then we don't care. Unexpected Assistance. Discard a card, then draw 3 cards for 10 mana. They've done Convoke again. Convoke is a really big trap for these people, isn't it? Every time they make a Convoke card, they go, "Oh well, to make up for the fact that it's got Convoke, let's make it too expensive." And pretty much every Convoke card that ever gets printed, they could just subtract the Convoke cost from the casting cost of the card and just make it like that. I mean, Convoke was... I feel like Convoke was just a little bit relevant on Call of Calling, wasn't it? I still use that every so often. Not because it's great, just because I have decks for very old events that I haven't been bothered to rebuild in ages. So I end up playing Call of Calling in, I want to say, maybe Trial of Ambition. It's something like that. It's like a Trial of Ambition, or it's like an Emergency Ordinances, or something. I end up playing Call of Calling. So I suppose there are Convoke cards around, but I certainly haven't seen one for a very long time. This is the card that I was mastering. As you can see, it is mastered. And I discovered that it does not kill supports, even though it says it should. Obviously, it's too expensive. But I was mastering it anyway. Unwelcome Sprite. When it enters the battlefield, Surveil 2. Yeah, Surveil card. Again, we see a lot of this at the moment, don't we? They've decided to make Surveil kind of evergreen, maybe. Have we got a lot of Surveil in paper? Maybe that's where it's come from, or maybe it hasn't. I often see Surveil popping up in sets that haven't had it, you know, in paper, but they decide to put it into Magic Puzzle Quest. But these creatures have to do something else besides Surveil, I'm afraid. Vibrance. Right, that and that are not the same creature, are they? Let's face it. This is a cute little doggy thing with twigs and fungus and leaves and stuff. And it's actually quite large. Look, see, there's some hobbits running away from it there. Oops. Hobbits running away from it. There. So, quite big. And this is a weird... I mean, what even the hell is that? Is that like a Shrek? Maybe that's like some variety of Shrek. Maybe that's just Shrek dog. If Shreks have dogs, maybe that's what they look like. Anyway... When this creature enters the battlefield, if there are 6 or more red gems on the board, which there might not be, deal 4 damage. If there are 6 or more green gems on the board, fetch the first land card from your library. Don't put any mana into it, then gain 2 life. I am staggeringly underwhelmed by that. Berserker. I kind of don't like the fact that they do this. I mean, I guess we have Berserker as an ability in Magic Puzzle Quest. I don't think it exists in paper, doesn't it? They put it in Origins to kind of try and make creature combat a little more interactive without manual blocking. But I kind of don't like the way that we have Berserker as an effect and a Berserker as a creature type. But that's just me. When this creature attacks, a random elf creature you control gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Right. I mean, there's the germ of a piece of design in there, isn't there? You know? Make it get much bigger. Yeah? 4/2. When it attacks, it gets +5/+5. Yeah? Then it hits something and it kills it. And then that would kind of act as a heal for the next turn. It means it makes it less likely to die. Yeah? And then that wears off, and then next turn it gets +5/+5 again. Bit of a heal. Bit of a design that you could have done there. But no. No design. Virulent Emissary. Oh dear me. When another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, a non-token creature, mind you, I mean, it would be fine with token creatures, wouldn't it? I'd go as far as to say still garbage with token creatures. Voracious Tome Skimmer. What the hell's that thing? I am still none the wiser, I'll be honest, having zoomed in on it. I still don't know. It's a fairy rogue, that's what it is. When you cast a spell, if it's your opponent's card, draw a turn. Yeah, rubbish. Wanderwine Preacher. Have we found anything good today? I don't think we have. Wanderwine Preacher. When this creature attacks, gain 2 life. Yeah, okay, whatevs. Wanderwine Trapper. These are all terrible merfolks. Activate 1. Oh, I'm glad we got back to the Activate 1 for the end. It's nicely in keeping with the whole theme of the set. Activate 1. I'm glad we got there by the time we got to the end of the set. We only got 10 cards to go now. The first opposing creature gains can't attack until end of turn. Yeah, 13 mana. You wouldn't play this at 5 mana, would you? 13. Ugh. Wanderwine Distractor. When it attacks, a random opposing creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. You give it them permanently. Go on, knock yourself out. Why not? 9 mana, 4/3. This is good enough to take it into mid-shit tier, isn't it? Wonderwine Farewell. Yeah, I don't know, I was mastering this probably in story mode, probably. But look at this. Return a Merfolk card you control to your hand at random. Then create a Lorwyn Merfolk token. I mean, they're really overestimating how much space we've got in our 3 creature slots here, haven't we? I mean, what's it for? Again, what's it for? Again, the Convoke with the 16 mana. What's it for? Warrant Torchmaster. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a Blight Gem. Target creature gains haste. Okay, so it's 6 mana 2/2 with haste. Yeah, okay, whatevs. Wary Farmer. At the end of your turn, if 1 or more creatures enter the battlefield under your control, or were reinforced while this creature was on the battlefield, there better be a big payoff for this enormous sentence. Surveil 1. There is not. Wickersmith's Tools. Okay, so I was expecting this. Yes. I mentioned this earlier, in the last thing, that we were going to get, eventually, we were going to get to a card that would give you mana when you create Blight Gems. And blimey, I noticed this one creates quite a lot. When you create a Blight Gem, create 5 mana. I mean, there are definitely creatures that create 4 Blight Gems every turn, aren't they? Well, a creature that creates 4 Blight Gems every turn. I think, isn't there one? Doesn't that Moon Shadow create 5 a turn, or does it just create 5? So, I mean, that's a lot of mana, isn't it? 5 mana per Blight Gem created. But then if you're playing with all those really tiny creatures, what do you need that mana for anyway? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that loads of mana is bad. Of course, loads of mana isn't bad. We like loads of mana. I just wonder if anybody really cares about this. Yeah? So let's say, for example, you are playing this with... Oh, I'm just going to nip through here. With the Dawn thing. Dawn, Hand Dissonance. Let's say you are playing with this, yeah? So you're gaining... you're creating 4 Blight Gems every turn. You're gaining 20 mana a turn. You're playing Dawn, Hand Dissident, and you're playing this Wicker Tools thing. Right? I mean, is your deck just not better if you take the Wicker Smith's Tools out and you put in Mystic Gate and gain 15 a turn? I mean, okay, sure. No, you might not be playing a Planeswalker with 2 matching colours. But your mana generation card, in my view, it wants to work on its own, you know? It's all very well having this combo that works when you've got the both things in play, but you want the both cards to just work on their own. That other card, the Dissident that we just saw, that works on its own, doesn't it? Yeah, every turn you're getting a card full of mana into your hand. This doesn't actually do anything until you're creating Blight Gems. Is there a Planeswalker that creates Blight Gems? Maybe one of the Planeswalkers creates Blight Gems. Does that new Elfie Planeswalker create Blight Gems? So, I mean, maybe that would do it on its own. But I bet it doesn't do it for, like, less than 7 loyalty. Then it doesn't do it every single turn. When this support loses shield, create a Scarecrow, which is just a 2/2. Okay. So, yeah. I can definitely see this going into that Blight deck. I just can't see the reason why I would want to build that deck. Wild Unraveling. Create 2 Blind Gems, drain mana. Ugh. Wild Vine Pummeler. 25 mana. What the fuck? I mean, this has got the Convoke problem, hasn't it? Look at this. We're reducing the cost of this card. X is the number of colours amongst cards you control. Yeah? Do we still like this at 20 mana? And don't get all clever with me and say, well, we don't care how much it costs because we're going to put this into play in the Commoners' Cup playing Grist. But, I mean, come on then. Well, then why does it have the cost reduction mechanic on it then in that case if we don't care about it? Design fail. I mean, yeah, I would master this in the Commoners' Cup. I think it's probably big enough. 6/5. In a Grist deck. Winnowing. No, Winnowing. Not winnowing. No, that would be a different thing. This is winnowing. Destroy all creature reinforcements. Destroy all creatures except for the first each player controls. Yeah, I don't like it. Oh, look, they've actually not done the thing with Convoke, have they? Because, like, for a mass removal you'd expect it to cost maybe 15, maybe as low as 10. We've had mass removal for 10. We had a couple of white ones for 10 before. This is mostly a mass removal effect. And with that 6, you can actually get it down to costing 7. The problem is this does not destroy everything. This destroys nearly everything. But you are going to look really stupid if the one thing that it doesn't destroy is a Dragon Hawk, aren't you? You really are going to have egg all over your face if that is the case. I don't think so. I don't think this has got a use because of that. I mean, we don't get things like that, do we? Do we actually? We don't really get Mana Filler Giver type creatures in Colours of Magic. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a use for it in Colours of Magic. I mean, you can't get Mana Filler Givers in Colours of Magic because, of course, nothing gets filled with mana in Colours of Magic. But generally, the creatures in Colours of Magic are very perfunctory affairs, aren't they? You know, they make you draw a card every turn or maybe discard a card every turn, and those are the best ones. Or maybe they get quite large, but not really large enough. I don't know. I doubt it. If it cost 11 mana, I might look at it for Colours of Magic, but I would almost certainly give up on it and go back to an actual mass removal spell. I am playing a lot of mass removal spells in Colours of Magic at the moment, and they all cost more than 11 mana. I just don't care because, you know, even though they take me 2 turns to cast, I say all, no witnesses doesn't. But I'm also playing, I believe, Ghostway at 16 mana, and I believe Merciless Eviction at 16 mana. And frankly, they're worth it. It's worth having to spend 2 turns using them, casting them, because you can't put a price on absolutely sweeping the board. So, yes, I don't think this is getting a look in anywhere. Oh, and this is apparently the last card. And it looks bad too, because it's one of these. 6 or more green gems. I mean, suppose it's a 9 mana 6/5. I mean, Christ, that takes it all the way to the top of mid-shit tier straight away, and it does some stuff. I mean, this is probably low high shit tier, isn't it? Just a 9 mana 6/5. I'm sure I've said that in the past. When this creature enters a battlefield, if there are 6 or more green gems on the board, destroy an opposing non-token artifact or enchantment support at random. We've seen too much of this, and I don't know why it's doing it. You know? I mean, we need to destroy lands in this game. This is the thing. In paper, that will be written as artifact or enchantment, but lands fulfill a very different function in paper. Do you know what I mean? If you make too many cards that blow up lands in paper, you actually lock your opponent out of the game. That's not true with this game. You can have as many land destruction spells, in inverted commas, as you like in this game. So you end up making support removal too narrow. If you do this, if you put only artifacts or enchantment supports on destruction, they end up being too narrow, and everyone instead goes and reaches for, you know, Demolish, Conclave Naturalists. That was in the olden days. And now, if you want to destroy a lot of supports, then, I don't know, Merciless Eviction. What's that new thing? Fiery Annihilation. Things like that. It's not good enough to just kill artifacts or enchantments. Especially in this day and age where even things that say a support, even things that say blow up a support, don't blow up vanguards. Not good enough. What's the next bit? 6 or more blue gems on the board. Discard the last card from your hand. Then draw 2 cards and don't put cards into it. Yeah, this doesn't get much further up high shit tier. 9 mana 6/5. You know, I don't mind that when I'm fox punching. But, yeah, we don't like the rest of it. So in conclusion, we hate this set the same as we hate every other set. I don't know why I'm flicking through. I don't know what I'm going to find. I'm sure there's been more. I'm sure there's been more cards than just the one command, the Grubs command, that I like. me go and find it. Where is it? Grub's coming. There it is. There it is. Oh, and even look, it destroys the top 4 cards of your library as well when you do it. Look at that. Anyway, I'm sure there are some more cards in there, but yeah, as a rule of thumb, yeah, as I say, I'm umming and ahhing whether to chase this, and I'm probably not going to. I might. I do have quite a few resources at the moment to spend on things, to spend on packs, but really I should sit on them. I think, honestly, this is another set without chase cards. And this is it's a function of, you know, where we are in Standard. We had that big nerf in Standard, didn't we? And they left some cards alone. You know, there used to be a top tier of cards in Standard, and most of them are still there, you know? So it's not like the average power level has dropped. The power level of the cards that got nerfed, that's dropped. Oh, yes. Simulation Aegis. That's definitely a lot worse than it was. But the power level of the top tier is still right up there. So, yeah, a lot of these weak-ass cards they've been printing, if they are assuming that the average power level of cards has gone down in Standard, they are most definitely wrong. Well, we got through the whole thing. That's nice, isn't it? Maybe I will try and finish off some of the older sets, because I still got to finish off Lorwyn. I think I've got to do all of Shadowmoor during an extended period of illness. So watch out for me streaming. I might even finish the Lorwyn. I'm sure I've only got one part of Lorwyn to do. I don't know if I'll get around to doing Shadowmoor. Who knows? But I probably shouldn't I? And then new set, you know, sets are just barreling along these days, aren't they? So it's probably just going to be, what, 4 weeks? Maybe 5, till we get a new set anyway. Probably. Maybe 6. I don't know. We've had 3 lots of elite packs and it's come round again, haven't we? So it's been 3-4 weeks. So maybe 4 or 5 or 6 weeks before the next set. And I will see you then. So thanks everyone for coming in. Thank you Shmara, thank you Zibba, thank you the Hunter. And we will see you all the next time we do one of these. What the hell am I doing? I'm just pacing around my living room like a crazy old man who doesn't even know who